The Polk County Behavioral Health Court, founded in 2007, was created for criminal offenders with mental health or substance abuse disorders. The goal is to offer opportunities for treatment and to break the cycle of rearrest and reincarceration. With us today are Board Chairman and Commissioner George Lindsey and the Honorable Susan Barber, who is the presiding judge of the Behavioral Court. Thank you both for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here as well.
Thank you. Now, Commissioner Lindsey, behavioral health issues are very important to this board, the last couple of boards actually.
It really has, and I've been proud to be part of this board to continue that commitment. We see the community cost of behavioral health, not only across the board to the community itself, but the individuals, the families, and the businesses that it touches. So through our community partners, the Board of County Commissioners has made available funds for behavioral health programs. Tri-County is one of our partners, Peace River Center is one of our partners, and of course Baycare is one of our partners in this regard. Each of these agencies and other variations of it make recommendations and requests of our Citizens Oversight Committee, who is the group that reviews these applications and makes recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners as to how we spend and allocate the revenues received from the indigent healthcare sales tax, which the voters renewed back a few years ago. Our community is blessed by the compassion of our people renewing that. And when I talk to my colleagues in other counties, they are quite envious that we have a dedicated funding source to address indigent health care in our community, and it pays great dividends. I'm pleased that the judge could be with us today and share some insights on the Behavioral Health Court.
So what is the Behavioral Health Court, Judge Barber? How does it operate?
Well, as you said, it began in 2007 here in Polk County really as a pilot program, and we began with misdemeanor criminal charges. Folks that had mental health disorders, some co-occurring disorders where mental health disorder is complicated by a substance abuse disorder, and they make their way into the criminal justice system with criminal charges, and addressing their housing in the county jail as a difficult situation for a number of people, including the cost involved in housing someone with a special need in the county jail, oftentimes housed separately and apart from other inmates with an increased cost. So we began our pilot program with the idea that we could address substantial mental health issues with members of our community, and in so doing we could address public safety issues. We could perhaps reduce recidivism with people who have mental health disorders and have just simply lost their resources, and as a result of a number of things are repeat offenders. And the pilot program was wildly successful, and it has been ever expanding since 2007. We do now have third-degree felony charges that are accepted into the program, and in the last couple of years we've started an offshoot of the program with a veterans treatment docket. Currently have 17 active veterans participating.
So what are some of the problems that are unique to veterans?
Well, we have, of our 17 active veterans, we have a number of them that have what we would consider a service-connected disability. A good example would be a veteran who had 1 or 2 tours of duty in Iraq, returned home with a mental health disorder such as PTSD, or perhaps even a traumatic brain injury, for example. And because of the mental health sensitive issues, they have as well lost resources or have failed to reconnect in a positive way to the community. And so because of those unique factors with veterans, we have the addition of veterans to our behavioral health court program, but with some additional parameters in place for them.
Excellent. Now, Commissioner, some people might ask, okay, this benefits the program participants, but how does it also benefit the community?
Well, as the judge mentioned, the recidivism rate is much lower for those people who go through the program, so that's an additional cost reliever to the community. And providing the service inside the incarceration or the jail facilities is much more costly also. So it's a combination of several objectives. First and foremost is to provide assistance to the individual that needs the help. And two is to provide that service at the most cost-effective way possible. We still are guardians and responsible for the best fiscal use of the resources that we have through the indigent health care. So it's a total community benefit. It's not a problem that we can solve and make go away. It'll never be eradicated. The objective is to manage it in the most cost-effective way we can. And hopefully those that come to the system will go on to be model citizens, be advocates for the program, and sometimes see the error of their ways if it's a substance abuse issue. If it's a mental issue, then there are other opportunities for treatment in that regard.
Now, is this program mandatory, voluntary? How does it work?
Well, the Behavioral Health Court is a voluntary program, and I don't want anyone to be confused by me saying that, because we do have some participants that are on felony probation, for example, and successful completion of the program is made a condition of that probation. So at that point, it is something they have to do, but they can choose not to participate in that arrangement before it's implemented. So if a participant has a criminal charge pending, they may have a number of alternatives placed before them, and they will choose the alternative that includes behavioral health court as a condition.
Now, the Behavioral Health Court has been going since 2007, but the board is constantly looking for new ways to supplement programs that are working. Could you speak a little bit about?
Yes, we, as I mentioned earlier, we're guardians of the fiscal responsibility, and so we invite those who are offering services to make an application to the Citizens Oversight Committee. That application is scrutinized, and there has to be measurable indexes that show the program is effective. We want the dollars to go as far as possible and to be as effective as possible. Some programs don't meet expectations, and as soon as we learn that, they're no longer in the program, making resources available to others who do make a viable, workable program. But it's a never-ending challenge. But the job is to find the right service providers to get the service to the citizens who need it.
Now, some people may have read in the paper about a program that Polk County has that has won several local and national awards, that being Helping Hands. Helping
Hands is quite a unique approach that I'm proud to be part of here in Polk County. And as you may recall in previous programs, Sheriff Judd operates the single largest mental health facility in the county. It's called the county jail. And it's unfortunate. Some of the people incarcerated there have not yet been adjudicated guilty of anything yet, ranging from minor offenses to major offenses. But when they are released into the community, those who have serious mental health issues are not always the most responsible in following up with their health care regimen, with their medications. When they're medicated in the proper manner, then they can be successful, viable citizens. When they get off their medications, that's when bad things happen. So in concert with the sheriff, the court system, and our Polk County Fire and Rescue operations, we have dedicated paramedics that follow up with these former inmates and make sure that they take their medications on time. They have the adequate supply, they have the mechanisms and the support system to get back on their feet and to stay in the proper medicated state. not overly medicated, that can cause additional problems, and additionally under medication can have bad consequences. And this program, Helping Hands, has been recognized by the Florida Association of Counties as well as the National Association of Counties as being kind of cutting edge, again, to reduce the recidivism rate and help the people who really need the services.
Now, Judge Barber, if you don't mind, what is the view like from behind the bench of the Helping Hands program?
Well, I have to agree with the Commissioner wholeheartedly. The Helping Hands program has been a vital resource for the Behavioral Health Court. In most instances, the first 60 days in the program are the most critical because we're dealing with people who may have lost the most basic of resources, like transportation to go pick up their prescription medication, or transportation to their doctor's appointments, or even more basic than that, housing, because stable housing is a condition of our program here in Polk County. So to see a paramedic come to court, bring a participant to court, stand next to the participant in court is so important in that first 60 days to know that the participant has an opportunity for success. And it's been very rewarding for me to watch the Helping Hands program at work and expand.
Now, when someone doesn't play by the rules, one of my sayings is, when all else fails, read the instructions. If someone in the program doesn't behave in the proper manner, doesn't accept the help that's offered to them, then they suffer the consequences and go back through the incarceration. The idea is to keep them out of that system. It's not to coddle them, but it is to help them back on their feet.
Much in the same manner as the Behavioral Health Court, they have case managers assigned that don't coddle them, as you have pointed out, but just give them an opportunity to for growth themselves, to find the success with resources that they didn't have before. And it does so many things for the participant individually. Not only do they become more stable and more secure, it builds confidence. It builds confidence for long after they leave us in our program, that they can continue to find that success.
And they know that they're not alone.
Yes, absolutely. And we do have an alumni group as well, so many of our successful graduates have had such a rewarding experience in our program that they willingly come back and provide support and mentorship for folks that are just starting out in the program because they know where they've been.
Behavioral health is going to be a cost of any community. If we do nothing, that cost is going to be off the charts. If we have comprehensive relationships with all the agencies and cooperation between the court system, law enforcement, and administration, then we can minimize that cost and at the same time get the help to the people. That's the objective. It's not adding another government program. It is managing a situation that has been handed to local government, and how you respond to that charge will reflect on what you spend on it. So we can either spend it expanding in the jails, expanding the court system, or we can spend those resources giving a helping hand in the right fashion. And those who want the help, there's help available. As I said earlier, those who don't take advantage of it will suffer the consequences. But the cost of the community is still going to be there. And our charge is to address that cost in the most responsible fashion possible.
Judge Barber, many thanks to you and your staff for everything you do in the Behavioral Court.
I am happy to be here to talk about Behavioral Health Court and the Veterans Treatment Docket.
Thank you so much. And Commissioner, thank you for everything you do.
It's my privilege to work with my colleagues on this community effort.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of the Commissioner's Report.